Hello, friends. Just going to reflect a little bit just for a couple of minutes. What motivates me? Uh, I'm a husband. I'm a dad. I have two jobs, but I love carving out this time to create this podcast with my friend Paul. What motivates me to do it? Why should you pay attention to it at all? I have five quick things I want to share. First, one of my favorite things to do in the world is to talk about books I love with other people. As a high school English teacher, I obviously do this most of the time, most of my day. But I admit I also spend an embarrassing amount of time at work, at coffee shops, and just out in the world asking people what they're reading and what they think about it. This podcast is basically just two people who spend their days talking about books with teenagers, simply talking about books with each other, and hopefully introducing these conversations to a wider audience of more diverse readers. Two, I really like the fact that Paul and I come from very different backgrounds, not just because he has a funny Southern accent and I have a funny Northern accent, but we come from two different philosophies of reading. Paul is very much a philosopher, and that means we notice different things. And we come to these texts with different kinds of questions oftentimes. And it makes the conversations more dynamic. And even though I prep my thoughts for the pods in advance, talking to Paul means I'll inevitably be surprised by something. And to be surprised, being surprised is part of the essence of the reading experience. Third, Paul and I are weird, and we especially love teaching old, difficult, really good books. And there's something magical in a book that's been considered great for hundreds, in the case of the Odyssey, thousands of years. And we like to tap into where that greatness comes from. Four, I like thinking about the core of what reading imaginative literature means for us, namely that we're entering a space that's both completely familiar and completely foreign at the same time. I love having conversations with students and with my friends about the magic of seeing ourselves in books written in distant lands, often centuries ago. And equally interesting are those moments where we get to imagine what it might be like being someone completely different from ourselves. And last but not least, I hope this podcast, really maybe more than any other, more than anything else, reminds everybody that reading imaginative literature is meant to be joyful, even when the literature is old and sometimes difficult. Because I don't know, who doesn't love reading about passionate love affairs, the pains of war, the trials of homecoming, the evil of monsters, the fear of the unknown, and the thrill of becoming whole again, the challenge of every great literary character. At the end of the day, it's about joy and about the connection and about connection. And if this podcast can help us as a community feel joy in reading and help us reconnect to great books, then it's totally worth our time. I hope this helps. And it's been great getting to know those of you who've reached out, and please continue to reach out and listen and ask questions and offer alternate views. Thank you.